Hello everyone and welcome back to the Vintage Freak YouTube channel. Before we start the video, if you'd like to support this channel, please like, comment and most importantly of all, subscribe. Some time ago I produced a film highlighting 10 top tips for shopping at a flea market or a car boot. So a quick recap: get there early, stay to the end, do a quick first sweep, target the known dealers, look out for the house clearance stalls, keep an open mind about what you're buying, look under, around and behind tables, sort through dusty boxes that may be tucked underneath tables. When you've done your first lap, have a look round in the opposite direction. Walk away if you're Googling. It's not the done thing to stand there checking prices in front of dealers. Always ask for the best price and try not to lowball them. So that was the recap of the previous video. Check it out if you want more detail. And here are 10 more tips for shopping at a flea market or a car boot. Top tip number 11. Sounds obvious, but check the opening and closing time of the market. The number of times I hear people turn up to find out that it's been raining 2 days before and the field's waterlogged, so it's closed. Top tip number 12. Park as near to the entrance to the flea market as you possibly can. If you're buying several items, you'll want to go back to the car or the van to drop them off, and you don't want to be walking half a mile there and back each time you do a drop. Top tip number 13. Take plenty of change. There's nothing more frustrating for a seller than having made a sale and then find out that the buyer only has £20 notes. I know it's the responsibility of the seller to provide change, but trust me, if you've got the right money, sometimes you can even get a better deal. Top tip number 14. Take a stock of bags with you, or even a trolley if you're thinking of buying multiple items. This will be really helpful when you're wandering round, and it means you haven't got to go back to the car or van every time you buy something. Tip 15, do a bit of research before you go. It's always worth checking, if you're buying to resell, what's currently on trend and making money. Or more importantly sometimes, what is now off trend and you don't want to be stuck with the last of those particular items. Tip number 16, have a plan for heavy or large items. There's no point doing a deal and buying a sideboard or a wardrobe if you can't transport it home and the dealer isn't prepared to deliver it to you. Tip number 17, and as a dealer or a trader, I see this happen a lot. If I sell a heavy or a large item to a customer, quite often they will ask to leave it behind my stall, and with the plan to come back and pick it up at the end of the day. What happens? 500 stalls in the market, they forget where my stall is. So you see these panicked people turning up with minutes to go, having finally found my stall where they left their item. So the advice is, always get a landmark. There may be a tree in the distance or a brightly coloured van, but always get a landmark for where your item is. That'll save a load of grief, and trust me, it happens all the time. Tip number 18. Have a little bag with you with a few bits and pieces in it, including batteries to check electrical items that you might buy. There's nothing worse than buying an electrical item, getting it home and then finding out it doesn't work. For the sake of carrying a couple of AA or AAA batteries around with you, it'll save you a load of grief, and you can check whether the item's working while you're there. Tip number 19. Along similar lines, take a small magnet to check any metal items you buy. You can immediately identify whether an item is ferrous, steel, to a certain extent whether an item is silver plated on top of a ferrous material, i.e. it's not solid silver, and it's just really useful to get an initial indication of the type of metal you're dealing with, especially if the item is a collectible or you're hoping it will have some value. And finally, tip number 20. Have a look at the dealer's table. Is it cluttered? Is it tidy? Are there things thrown all over the floor? This will give you a good indication of the dealer's frame of mind. And sometimes it'll give you a heads up on whether you can get a good deal or not. A dealer that has an immaculately organised table is likely to have a really good idea of the value of the items, and quite often at a flea market they may even be priced up. Whereas a dealer that is literally dumped everything on the table, on the ground around them, is there to sell, and sell fast. So bear that in mind. Cluttered, organised, it can impact on the price. So there you go. There's another 10 top tips for shopping at a flea market. I hope you found them useful, and if you have any tips of your own that I've missed off, please leave them in the comments below. Quick reminder, if you'd like to support our little channel, please like, comment and subscribe.